So my plan today was to fly a bunch of little helicopters to give them a try outdoors before it gets to be indoor flying, but I don't know how much patience I'm going to have to fly. I brought about half a dozen helicopters with me, but it's damn cold. Basically the first frost of the year, so always want throttle cut on with helicopters. You know, I don't know whether I'm actually going to have the patience to endure the cold. Basically it's first frost of the year. It's not that frosty, but there's frost there on the table. So it's the first frost I've seen this fall. The sun's just coming up, so we try not to fly into the sun. This is just the the Blade CX2 with a Jet Ranger body on it, and it's had a aluminium swash plate put in it, but it's only a coax helicopter. Old coax helicopter too.
Throttle cut off.
Well, it still flies, although it don't seem to have much tail stability. God, that tail just seems to want to wander all over the place. Come back. Come back here. It's hard to make it come back here because I can't. It's hard to control where it points. So this is just the old, it was a popular learner helicopter, 10 years ago or something probably. It's just a coax. Basic coax helicopter. 2 rotors. Does actually tilt the head though, it's a coax 4-channel. It actually tilts the head sideways. It has a swash plate sort of. Good. See now, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm not doing any control input to make it do that ridiculous. These stupid. Oops. Yes, this is not what you'd call flying well. It's doing stupid pirouettes a lot of the time for no reason. The power just dropped there. I don't know. I think maybe the main shafts are not turning as well as they should. It's an old helicopter. Now this was when I bought it, it was just a regular CX2, you know, with the red body and whatever. This cold also, I'm sure, doesn't help it. I think I wrecked it at one point. I was flying it indoors and I blinded myself by looking into one of the spotlights in the indoor arena. And the original version of this flew into I don't know what it flew into because I was blinded. Smashed itself to pieces. I rebuilt the head. I put that aluminium head on it, and then at some point I put this jet. I don't know. I think one of the shafts is sticking or something because it keeps doing these ridiculous pirouettes that I'm not asking it to do at all. It's an old helicopter. And I can hardly get it to move forward at all. That's full forward. I've got full down stick on there trying to move it back towards me. Well, there's a little bit of wind getting up, and these things have no ability to resist wind. Oh yeah, well anyway, I think that's a vague proof of concept for this. It would probably fly better indoors. I was going to bring it in for a landing then anyway, but it kind of decided to drop itself. Oh, ow. It is cold. Just a brushed motor in there, but it almost looked like, I don't know. Who knows? It's got a nice aluminium swash plate in there. I don't know. We'll try it indoors, see if it works better. It looked like something was sticking periodically there because it was just doing these ridiculous pirouettes without any command input. And cold fingers. But the pirouettes have nothing to do with cold fingers. There was no command input there at all. Anyway, there you go. There it is. An old Blade CX2 with the Jet Ranger scale body. So I'm trying to continue here with my helicopter morning, although the extreme cold is not good for me or the helicopters.
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
This is a Blade 120 SR. The original one, not the current safe one they have. It's not the... Well, I say the original one. They actually went through a couple of versions, I think. Because I have 3 of these in various states of repair and whatever. And I think this is the only one that binds DSMX. The other 2 I've got bind DSM2. So they did change it from DSM2 to DSMX at some point. But then now they have a version which is DSMX and safe. You know, with stabilization. This does not have stabilization. It's a fixed pitch flybar, single rotor helicopter. It hates any wind, of course. We'll see what we can do with it, but I'm not all that optimistic. But the other thing about these is they use these sort of yes, this is the problem with them. Yeah. They use these batteries, these stick batteries with a JST connector, and I find they're the worst batteries of all. You just cannot get one that will actually hold any bloody power. No. See, there's just no power in this battery. Okay, I'll try a different battery, but I don't know whether it's going to get... Okay, we got a new battery in this now. Twitching away like anybody's business for some reason. That first one was a Nanotech 750. I think this is some sort of no-name Chinese silver 500. It's not like the actual E-flite ones are any better. In fact, they're worse. These, I don't know, the batteries for this, they're those flat, large stick, 1 cells with a JST connector, and they just won't provide any power. Nope. Nope. Just can't get any power to the thing. No, I don't think it's going to do anything. Well, of course, this cold doesn't help. Okay, I'll maybe try one more. This is the actual E-flite battery these things are supposed to take, but I'm not optimistic that this will do any better, frankly. Not at all. In fact, usually these are the worst. Of course, it's possible to brush. This is a brushed motor. It's possible to brush motor on this guy's kind of blown, but I thought he flew last time I flew him, and he maybe would fly indoors in warmer weather or whatever, but I can barely, as you can see, I can't get him up in this weather.
Throttle cut off.
Nope. That one's even worse. That's the worst of the lot, which doesn't surprise me because they tend to be. Nope, that's as far above the ground as I can get him. Okay. Sorry, so that got us. Okay, basically, so I had no success whatsoever with the Blade 120 SR. Could not. Tried 3 batteries and it couldn't get it up, as the bishop said to the actress. So,
Normal mode. Hold mode.
So I'm going to try a little MCPX. This is again, you know, a lot of these helicopters I've got are old. This is the original MCPX. Again, they've had, well, there's an MCP. I was just rebuilding an MCPX brushless on the weekend, but I didn't bring that out today because I haven't even, other than test hovering it in my bedroom, I haven't done anything with it. This one used to fly. My hands are frozen now, though. But we'll see if he at least flies. We hope so. Try and get the hat on, try and not fly him in. Whoa. Hoppy, hoppy, hoppy. Something doesn't seem very stable with him.
Hold mode.
I don't know. I don't know, he doesn't seem in very good. They probably don't like this cold. He doesn't seem very stable. Well, we got him up in the air, but he's wibbling and wobbling. Is he going to settle down at all? Yeah, maybe. Oh! That was not me. That was something, the thing that just decided, I don't know. Dragging out old helicopters. The thing just decided it. And this is not the best weather for them.
Normal mode.
No. Well, battery problems again, maybe. It's this cold apart from anything else, probably. They don't like it. They don't like this cold. No.
Hold mode.
He's not going to fly, is he? Not really. We had him up briefly. We had him up very briefly, and then he went down. Blimey. My hands are cold now. I can hardly get hold of anything. Well, see if he likes this battery any better. Ow, my hands hurt. It's cold.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on it. Famous last words, talk about banking. Oh dear. Ow, my hands are cold.
Hold mode.
Oh dear. His whatnot, his battery tray and skids have come off, but they're just pushed on.
Normal mode.
He's a bit skittery. Probably not in trim. Well, and the cold and the battery don't help. Not into the sun, please. Pretty fast, though. Said not into the sun.
Hold mode.
It's one thing about these little things, at least. You can generally get away with cutting the power and they'll just drop on the grass without hurting themselves, not like the big ones. Because I went through the sun there, I couldn't see what I was doing. And I'm not used to this guy. I think this guy's actually not flying too badly. A lot of it's just me. Although, you know, these batteries are not the best. Probably need to get some new batteries, but these not with this battery. We'll get him up very briefly once more with this battery, and then that's about all we're going to get out of him, because you're not going to get much more out of the battery. Yeah, it's still going up at the moment. He seems to jigger a bit when he's first starting, but then he sort of stabilizes. I actually like these MCPXs. I mean, I did just rebuild the brushless one, but I've never really flown the brushless one much because it was an endless problem from when I bought it. No fault of blades, it was a used one. And the board wouldn't work, and then I ordered a new board, not this one, the brushless one. I bought a brand new board for it from Blade, and that wouldn't work. So I contacted Horizon, and they very kindly replaced it free of charge. It was a defective part. We're running out of battery now. And I rebuilt it on the weekend, the brushless one with a new board, and then the swash plate came apart, but I had a spare aluminium swash plate for it, so I put that in. So it should fly now, the brushless one, but I didn't bring it today because I thought it would be more experimental than this. I think that's about as much. I think that's as much as we should do with this guy today, given the cold and battery problems and whatever. But I don't think there should be any actual problem with him flying with a proper battery, and maybe in slightly well, then now let's try something non-blade. And this is about as classic as you could get for a non-blade helicopter. This is the original WL Toys 911 fixed pitch flybar. I think that may be an upgraded flybar on it, but otherwise it's pretty much exactly original. Probably more people have learned to fly helicopters with this than any. Well, I mean, a lot of people learn first with those little coax things you get from the dollar store, or what, not dollar store, but you know what I mean, those little cheap coax things, but they're 3-channel. This is at least 4-channel, but it's flybar. Now the wind hasn't really got up at all yet. It's 4-channel, so you know the controls are where the controls on a helicopter sort of should be, at least. Does not like any wind though. I can barely get him to come back towards me, but you know, this is these are terrific little helicopters. This is the original 911, as I say, and there's a little bit of wind from behind me, and even that little bit of wind is enough to make him want to go away from me. And I mean, the problem with these is because they are flybar. If you tilt them too far, the flybar gets out of whack and they go weird. So they're a bit tricky. Well, but I don't know. I mean, they're about as benign as you can get for a single rotor helicopter. And yeah, they're just such a good help. And they used to cost, still do cost probably about $40, something like that. You get them on sale sometimes for $25 even, and that's with a controller and whatever. They fly with little stick batteries with the MCPX connector, but they're not. You can't put an MCPX battery in them because the battery bay is narrower, and they actually you push the battery forward and it actually clips in. There's no, well, I guess that's normal, but there's no wire involved on either side on the battery or the helicopter. The problem with this guy is he's going to, you know, he's a fixed pitch helicopter and he's drifting away on me. There's wind. I've let him go downwind. This is the problem, and this is always a problem with fixed helicopters. You can't get the bloody things upwind. Oh dear. Because I'm getting to the point where I can't see what he's doing anymore as well. I lost him. So I did find it. It got quite a way away, right over the far hill by the time it descended to Earth. I don't know when it disappeared from the camera, but for me it disappeared, well, right when I said I lost it, basically. This is just intended to be a function test. I don't really want to fly it because there's still too much wind here. Well, see what I mean? I'm gonna break it now. I didn't break it then. Yeah, there's still too much wind now to be really flying it. Yeah, there really is. It's just as soon as you try and take it off, it gets blown away. Because even here where it's fairly sheltered, there's wind. even here where it is fairly sheltered, there is wind. It's really better to fly it indoors if you can. But although I'm trying to keep it down out of the wind, although I can't really fly it here because the wind is just trying to blow it away as soon as I do. Trying to avoid flying it into myself here, which is hard to do because the wind keeps trying to blow it into me. Clearly not. You shouldn't be flying this sort of helicopter in the wind, famous last words. It's really hard to stop the wind blowing it into me. But the thing is, whoops, at least they're so benign that when they hit you, like if they hit, you don't want to hit yourself in the face with it, but when you hit yourself in the body with your clothing like that, you're not going to hurt yourself, and they don't break very well. This thing fell. It must have been 60 feet up in the air, I should think, because it was, you know, it was actually higher than it looked on the camera, because it was past the hill and then the ground drops away behind there, and it was down 2 slopes past that hill when I found it, and it took me a long while to find it as well. So it fell from 60, 70 feet in the air. Oops. Aha.